Hello everyone, my name is Morgan and welcome to my channel. Today's doll is actually a commission for a League of Legends character known as Miss Fortune, and I'm going to be making her bewitched skin. So I'm not completely familiar with League of Legends characters. I know I did my KDA series, but that is pretty much as far as my knowledge takes me. So I had to do a lot of research on this character to make sure I was doing it correctly and to the customer's liking. It's kind of weird to say customer. I just kind of feel like I know I'm like a small business, but it's still like a weird thing for me to say. I don't know. So starting off for this custom, I'm using a Clio face mold and some bright orange acrylic yarn as the reroot. This yarn brand, I can't remember the name of it, but I need to find more of it because this yarn is super soft, like way softer than like the yarn that I get from Walmart. So once I'm finished with the reroot, I brush out all of the yarn fibers to get rid of the curly texture. So it appears that this Miss Fortune skin, her hair goes from this bright orange to a pink ombre, and I don't know what's wrong with this yarn, but the chalk pastel does not hold at all. As soon as I straighten the hair to set the chalk pastel, it just disappears, and I can't just leave the chalk pastel without straightening the hair because then it'll still rub off on your hands if you touch your hair. So this was a challenge that I could not overcome, and I don't know how to solve it. So I just tried to move on from that little dilemma and continue with the rest of the custom. I'm using an Ever After High body instead of a Monster High body because I'm going to repaint Cleo's face to match the body skin tone. I've shown my method of doing this time and time again, so if you're curious, you can go back and watch another one of my videos to see me do it, but it's basically just watered down acrylic paint, so not much to see. So moving on to her face up, I'm using a lot of chalk pastels to better blend the skin tone to match face and body again, and I'm also adding some pink eyeshadow and pink lipstick. I use a kneaded eraser when necessary to clean up messy line work like the top lip. So for my acrylic paint face-ups, I just find it easier to go in with a mechanical pencil to outline the eye shape. I haven't found a problem with doing this yet, so that's my whole strategy. I wanted this doll to be looking straight forward, like right at you, kind of, so that was my goal with the eye placement. Then I went back in with some more pink chalk pastel to give her even more eyeshadow. Now that this layer is done, I went in with some watercolor pencils to add a touch of color and brighten up any areas that need retouched. I wanted her green eyes to really stand out, so I added a little bit of yellow in the center of them to make them look really bright. I go in with one last layer for chalk pastels to touch up all the colors. So now it's time to paint the whites of her eyes with some acrylic paint. I'm also using some green acrylic paints to brighten up the eyes even more. And now I'm just adding the finishing touches of some eye shines to really make the eyes sparkle. So now that her face up is all done, I'm going to remove the head wrap off of her and we can see what the hair looks like with her face. Now moving on to her outfit, I made this pattern myself for her dress using the Frankie Dawn of the Dance dress that I'm always putting on my dolls because it's super easy to take on and off. And then I also made her a little collar, which we need to attach the lace to the front of. Off camera, I made her some stockings matching the same fabric as the dress. They are pretty simple. I just used a pattern from Moonlight Jewel. And these are going to be her ruffled sleeves. I'm going to add a gathering stitch onto both sides. So when I add the gathering stitch to the top of the sleeve, I'm also adding a little bit of some ruffled lace, so it adds a little extra detail. Then I add a gathering stitch to the bottom of the sleeve, and once that's done, I sew the sleeve together, good side to good side, and then I flip it inside out with the end of a paintbrush. To finish off the sleeves, I add a little bit of some gold ribbon towards the bottom of them, just to match the skin. Moving on to her dress, I'm taking the back pieces and sewing them good side to good side with the front piece of the dress. Then I fold the dress in half and cut a slit for the sweetheart neckline. Next, I hem the seam of the top of the dress, simultaneously adding some of that ruffled lace from earlier. Moving on to the collar really quickly, I add a little bit of gold trim detail just using some acrylic paint. So I make sure that the collar fits properly around her neck, and then to attach it, I just use some Fabri-Tac. For her gloves, I will be using the same fabric that I used for her sleeves and then sewing it skin tight to her arm. I then flip it inside out and add some little cuts at the tops to make them have that triangle shape. So for her jacket, I also made this pattern myself, just kind of freehanding it. When cutting out the cocktail dress pattern that I made, I added the little tidbits at the bottom of the jacket. Not sure what it's called. So now what would have been the front piece of the dress is actually the back, and the two smaller pieces are the front of the jacket. Miss Fortune's bewitched skin also kind of has these bat wings attached to the jacket, so I made 4 of this pattern that I cut out, and then I attached this wired gold ribbon so they are posable. I also cut some random holes into the side of the wings to make them look a bit aged or roughed up. Coming back to the actual jacket, I added some gold ribbon trim to the ends of the jacket to better match the skin design. I also had to make a belt for this doll, so I grabbed my brown kind of faux leather fabric and just glued the hems inward. Then I also made a strap for the belt, so Miss Fortune has somewhere to hold her potion bottles. Not sure what they are. So I painted the jump ring gold to match and then just glued that right onto the belt, which you can't really see because my hand's in the way. So that makes the main part of her outfit pretty much done. We still need to paint these hands to match her gloves though, so I grabbed some purple acrylic paint and covered the hands. To make her potion bottles that she has strapped onto her belt, I grabbed some of these green beads that I bought from Joann's, and I'm just going to use those. The potion bottles kind of have these leather straps around them, I'm assuming to hold them onto the belt, so I cut out some thin strips and glued them onto the beads, and then I just super glued the beads right onto the belt. To attach the bat wings to the jacket, I just glued them in place. And now moving on to probably the most eye-catching part of her design is the giant witch's hat that she is wearing. So I bought this like corny looking witch hat from Joann's months ago, and I was like, maybe I'll use this for something one day, and the day has come. So I'm covering it in the same fabric I used for her dress and jacket, and we're going to try and make a better point on this witch's hat so it's not as funny looking. So this pink fabric is going to be the inside lining of the hat, so I cut out a circle and then cut out these little triangle shapes so it will fold easily inside the cone of the hat. Once the glue is in place, I made sure to carefully apply the fabric and gently press around the edges to make sure there's no folds and creases. For the outer rim of the hat, I just carefully freehanded this circle and then cut out the inner circle so it just lays flat on the hat. And then I sewed a cone to that ring and stuffed it with some cotton balls to give it a little bit of shape where the hat does not reach the rest of the hat. Do I make any sense? Then I just glued on the outer rim so everything lays nice and neat. Taking a quick break from this hat, I am going to paint some Draculaura shoes that kind of fit the vibe I'm going for because I don't really have any shoes that perfectly match Miss Fortune's bewitched skin, but Ghouls Rule Draculaura kind of definitely has like some witchy boots, so just painted them some purple acrylic paint, added some gold details, and then that was it. Oh, and I added a little dragonfly glaze to make the heart sparkle, of course. So to finish up this hat, I'm using some 2-part epoxy sculpt to make the crescent moon that she has. I know this is going to make it pretty heavy, but I don't really have another method of making a 3D crescent moon charm thing. I guess I could have used craft foam, but I didn't want it to look like really cheesy. I don't know. So I waited for that to dry and then painted it in some gold acrylic paint. I also put on these fake acrylic nails because I really wanted to try and make a full custom with fake nails on, but I didn't even keep them on for 2 days because I couldn't even take my contacts out of my eye when I put these on, so that video will have to come at a later date. So now that I've done all the finishing touches to this witch's hat, she is done. I had a lot of fun making this doll, as I do with pretty much all of my customs, but it's really fun to step outside of your comfort zone, like I always say with commissions, because this is not something I would have just made on my own, but it's something I really love the design of, and League kind of never misses with their character design. But I probably still will never play the video game, because it's just not my kind of video game. I also last minute had Emma print me out some of her guns, so I made those off camera. There might be a picture of them in here somewhere, I hope. But yeah, I think that really pulls the whole look together, and I can't wait to make some more customs. Next doll is also going to be another commission, so after that I will get back on track into doing my usual stuff, I guess. But yeah, stay tuned. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and you can find more of my dolls over on Instagram. So I will see you in the next video. Bye!